What a beautiful, beautiful day. A lot of people complain about it being overcast and the clouds being all gloomy and stuff, but I've never really been too affected by the gloomy clouds. I've just always enjoyed the overcastness. As long as I have a hot drink of tea or coffee and a book to read, I know that means if it's cloudy, that means it's raining somewhere. And as farmers, usually we're pretty happy about rain. So I'm happy for somebody out there. And if it's a rainy day, that means I'm getting more rain. It's awesome. Let's see, you guys all situated there. Boom, there you go. All right, today's video is on the top 5. I repeat, 5 actions you can take right now in the winter time to prevent future pests in springtime and fall. There's always something to be thankful for. There are things you can do right now to help prevent and minimize the amount of pest pressure that your plants, your vegetables, your fruit trees are going to experience. I don't want to take too much of your time, so let's go through these pretty quick. We have number 1. This is my favorite one. This is like the foundation, I think, of how to control pests. Here's my saying. I always say, happy soil equals happy plants equals happy people. And it's so true. It's so true. It all goes back to the soil. So if you have healthy soil, then that means that all of a sudden your plants are more capable of controlling and managing the pest pressure that they have. I've found that diseased plants are like a magnet for a lot of different types of bugs and pests. Most bugs and insects are like vultures. They come in on the weak and the dead and the decaying, and they're actually beneficial. Every part of the ecology of life, it has its place. So bugs, they come in and they are the ones that try to attack the plants that are already struggling. But if you have healthy plants and they have their own immune system that is doing well, then all of a sudden your plants are under way less pest pressure. So make sure your soil is built up. That's what I'm doing here. I'm building up this soil with no dig method. All I'm doing is I'm building that topsoil layer to try to mimic what's out there in the forest. Out there in the forest, we've got leaves, needles, twigs, and they're breaking down. Over here, I'm doing the exact same thing. Cardboard, compost, wood chips, all kinds of good stuff. And that means that this soil is now alive, it's living, it's not tilled up and deep tilled to where all those different layers are all mixed up. Right now this soil is alive. So that's going to be one of the main best things you can do right now in the wintertime is work towards building your soil. Build that organic matter, build those layers, build those organisms. Whew. Sometimes I run out of breath. Man, I'm talking too fast. Okay, so let's get back to it. So we have the soil life, the ecology of the soil. Build that up. And you can do that by adding wood chips, by adding compost, by adding different types of inoculants, like bring in worms or bring in mycorrhizal fungi, all kinds of good stuff like that. Bring in beneficial aspects that are going to be building that soil. Thing number 2 is go ahead and start planting the types of plants that you're going to be planting around your perimeters. I like to call these IPM plants, integrated pest management plants. And these specific ones in this category that I'm talking about are the decoy plants. These are the plants that when bugs come in, and pests come in, they notice these plants that you're planting first, and therefore they go after that plant instead of the plant that you're going to be harvesting. So what you do is you plant the decoy plant before you try to get it to where that's going to be producing or mature, be right before the plant that you're going to be harvesting. Then some people will spray the decoy plant with pesticides. Personally, I don't like to do that. So what you can do instead is come in with maybe some bacterial killer, so like BT spray, that's natural, or you can come in with just a net and cut the plant out and put a net around it and take those off and bury them or something like that. Or you can go in and just literally just squeeze or kill the bugs that are on there. Just to list a few here, we've got dill is a great one for tomato worms. Millet is great for squash bugs. Amaranth is great for cucumber beetles. I wish I knew that one because cucumber beetles got me the first time I ever did a big garden. Those were bad, real bad. Radishes are great for flea beetles. I don't know if you guys have ever had those, but they're the little tiny black beetles that get on your, at least they got on a lot of my potatoes. and they got on all kinds of stuff. It was not fun. I wish I had planted a bunch of radishes. Collards are awesome for cabbage worms, and I can attest to that because these don't have them anymore because I think they've gotten killed off by the cold. But earlier on, these were like infested with cabbage worms. Same with those guys. So if I had had some collards separate, it would have been great to get all those, you know, the moth comes in and get your plants, put those somewhere else. All right, number 3. You ready for number 3? Number 3 is, man, that hawk is loud right now. Quiet. Go ahead and think about the types of plants that you're going to be planting that will be repelling the pests. This is not attracting, this is repelling the. So like, say for instance, chives repel aphids, and tomato hornworms are repelled by basil, and tomatoes repel asparagus, what are they called? Asparagus beetles. They repel asparagus beetles. Also, lots of y'all know about this one already. Marigolds are great for repelling nematodes that are actually in the soil. So we're not just talking about above ground pests, we're talking about underground plant pests too. So they repel the nematodes, and also they're great for the cabbage beetle, or cabbage moths, sorry. Cabbage moths, which will eventually turn into the cabbage worms. So these are just plants that you can plant around the perimeter usually. I'm going to be planting mine all the way around the perimeter because most of your pests are going to come in from the outside. Some of them can fly in, but a lot of them will come in by crawling along or different types of things like that. Thing number 4 is going to be watch out for areas where the bugs and insects can be hiding, basically habitat. Now over here, you see I've got some kale. I don't exactly know why, but some of the leaves are dying off. I think they're just getting older. So if you leave those dead branches on your plants, that just becomes habitat for the pests. So what I like to do is come through sometimes and pluck these guys off. And I won't leave them in the garden because a lot of times, especially in spring and summer, they will be covered in whatever type of pest is going on. So I'll just pluck those off, you know, like that, and then take them to my compost pile. Try to eliminate habitat. Here's my compost pile, a little bit away from the garden. Just add that in there, and that's going to mean that it's away from the garden, and a lot of times I'll bury that. So just cover that up with compost and it'll be decomposing just like this was a while back. Now in my garden I have all these pieces of wood around the perimeter, and I'm curious to see how this works out, to see if the slugs will become a big issue, because I know a lot of these, I mean, lift this one up, I know a lot of these have slugs underneath them, so I'm curious to see how the ecology of the soil ends up controlling these, because in my opinion, like I said, is if you have a healthy soil, then your plants are not going to get attacked. See along here we have a little slug there, worm there, so we'll see how that all works out. I'm curious to see how it works out. A lot of times plastic will be a habitat for slugs. Cardboard, watch out for cardboard that doesn't have anything on top of it. The cardboard can be a habitat. Alright folks, we got all 4 done. Last but not least is number 5. Number 5 is make sure you're careful what you're bringing into your new garden or older garden that you're just revamping for the springtime. During the winter time, it's a time of decay and breaking down, and the soil just getting ready, being dormant, being ready for springtime. When you bring in new material to your gardens, you're potentially adding new problems, new pests. So when you're looking at compost or wood chips, really be sure to look at it closely and look at all the different microorganisms that are working there. See if there's any type of pest that could be hiding in there that would potentially be a problem down the road. Alright folks, there you go. Quick little 5 tips for what to do now so that pests down the road are not as bad. There will be more videos coming up on pest control, because I know a lot of y'all are concerned about that, and I am too for my garden, and I want to make sure that we are all together knowing the best things we can do for pests and how to manage our soil in a way that is going to be better and better every year, to where we have less and less pests and it's just more and more enjoyable. Alright, goodbye garden, have a good night, and I will see you guys next time tomorrow. Hope you guys are doing good. Like I said, it's a cloudy day, but it's a good day. There's plenty to be thankful for. I will see you guys next time on the Gardenguy channel.